How do you portray someone who can leap buildings within a single bound? Who can be faster than a bullet and can hear the world? How do you portray hope, justice, and truth? How do you portray Superman? I think I have found the perfect casting for Superman and Lois. And it wouldn't be where you would think it would be found. Hello, welcome back to The Hole in the Wall. Today, we will be talking about the perfect casting for both Superman and Lois. So, first of all, let's get origins out of the way. Superman was born on the planet Krypton with the name Kal-El. He was sent to Earth and raised by two loving parents who gave him the name of Clark Kent. Years later, he would don the Superman name with the Superman title and stand for everything that a superhero should stand for: truth, justice, and hope. He is considered to be the father of all comic book superheroes, as he did set the precedent of what it means to be a superhero, even though that might not be the same saying as it is today, as superheroes have changed, but Superman has not. And that's why he is such a great superhero. He stands for everything truth and justice, and he will never stand down from that. And that I think is super cool. But you don't want to hear me ramble about Superman, so I'll keep that towards the end. You want to hear who I believe is the perfect Superman and Lois casting. And that, of course, being Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch, who portray Superman and Lois in the CW Arrowverse. So, a bit of background: Tyler Hoechlin came in as Superman in Supergirl Season 2. He would be playing Superman until Crisis on Earth X, where we would be introduced to Elizabeth Tulloch as Lois Lane. From then on, they would be portraying Superman until Crisis on Infinite Earths, where they would get their own spin-off show called Superman and Lois, where they would be two parents raising twins and having to explore the world of Smallville and Metropolis. So that's a bit of background on their characters. Let's talk about Superman and Lois first. It is what I believe got a lot of people into Superman, as Superman up until this point had been portrayed to be this moody teen, basically being the punching bag for the world, as up until this point, not many people still care about truth and justice and hope, the old way of the superhero. So, of course, over the past couple of years, Superman has been the punching bag for everyone, as, again, why are we hoping for this guy who's not gonna kill, who's not gonna, destroy buildings, who's going to save a cat out of a tree or help an old woman across the street? Not really a very cool superhero. And he is a godlike being who can do practically anything. He isn't recognized by any world government, and he stands by himself. Even Batman is skeptical on whether or not Superman is on his side half the time. But I think that's where Superman shines. And that's where we see him shine in Superman and Lois, as from the beginning, we're shown who Superman is. He is a guy who is going to do the right thing 100% of the time. He's not going to kill, he's not going to hurt. I suggest watching Superman and Lois yourself. Season 3 just wrapped up with a beautiful ending. It was just renewed for another season, so that should be fun, especially with the cliffhanger Season 3 left on. But Superman and Lois shows us who Superman is. Or should I say who Clark Kent is. As we are really never shown Superman at all through the show, which is very weird when we look at a Superman show, as a lot of Superman shows want us to see Superman. They want us to see him taking down bad guys and destroying buildings. But in Superman and Lois, we're watching him raise his kids, Jonathan and Jordan Kent, as they struggle to be middle schoolers, struggle to be high schoolers, and struggle through the change of moving from Metropolis to Smallville. There still is a Superman story involved, but that's not really where a lot of people love this show. This is not where I love this show. This is not where I started to become a die-hard fan for Superman. Again, after watching the show, he's one of my top favorite superheroes, as he showed a new side of Superman. He showed Clark Kent, which a lot of depictions of Superman are scared to show. They're scared to show the Superman who is soft. The Superman who is going to help that cat out of that tree or help that old woman cross the street. And that's where I think the beauty of Superman and Lois comes from, is we're watching Clark Kent, we're watching Superman learn how to take care of his kids. We're not watching him take down Brainiac or Bizarro or Doomsday. We're watching him help his sons go to their football games, helping one of his sons with his panic attacks, watching Superman help with giving dating advice.
But that's an adult decision. And it comes with some pretty adult feelings that you might not be ready for yet. So, if and when you guys have any questions, you can always come to us, okay?
And I think that's just so funny, as it's exactly why the world needs Superman. In a world where superheroes have lost their way, or not really lost their way, but like they don't stand for anything anymore. Or not that they don't stand for anything, but they're not the superheroes who are going to do the good thing because of the good thing. Because remember, Superman can take over the world if he wants to. He can. No one can stop him. Not Lex Luthor, not Batman, not the US government, not the UN. No one can stop Superman. And in this show, we learn why he restrains himself so much, as we watch him take care of his kids, take care of Lois, take care of his farm he grew up on, his friends. We watch him be a real human. We watch Clark Kent take on the struggles of fatherhood.
Don't try to talk to me, all right? You may have been sent here to be some hero, but you sure as hell weren't sent here to be a father.
Just leave us alone.
And that's why I think Superman and Lois work so well. I feel like I'm talking a lot about Superman and Lois, about how I feel about it. So let's get into the casting. Tyler Hoechlin is an amazing Superman. He can portray the big, buff Superman. Even though he's a lot more leaner than any other Superman we've seen before, he can still get that intimidating stare that Superman can get. But also, this is a guy who you can sit down with and just talk about life. And in those first 5 minutes, you understand why Tyler Hoechlin was chosen for Superman. As, again, he's just a guy you can sit with, but also a guy you can look towards.
Good friend?
Thanks. Cool costume.
Thanks. My mom made it for me.
Elizabeth Tulloch is just the Lois Lane. She very much shines as the mother of Jonathan and Jordan, but also as the very fast-paced and aggressive newscaster that we all love Lois Lane to be.
I have to write about it. One small step for Lois Lane, one giant leap for Lois Lane's career.
And I think that's so cool, because again, we don't really get to see that aggressive Lois. In this show, we get to see aggressive Lois. But I think the best part of this casting is the way these two characters work together. As when Superman and Lois are together, you get that crime-stopping, bad guy-catching duo. But when you see Clark and Lois together, that's when it makes sense. There's this plot in season 3 where I don't want to spoil it too much, but I think it is one of the best televised parts in a superhero show that I've seen in a while. Elizabeth Tulloch's character, Lois Lane, gets breast cancer, and we have to watch as she struggles with the idea that she has breast cancer. Again, that's the whole season 3. That's to put an idea of where Superman and Lois is again, it's a show that's about real people, but Superman's also there. But we watch Lois Lane get breast cancer and have to deal with the reality of what that means, but also seeing the Bruno Mannheim case. But in that same vein, we watch Clark Kent be that supportive figure to Lois Lane.
And I didn't want you to look at me like I was sick.
You are the strongest person I know. I promise you, I will never look at you any other way.
I'm not ready for everything to change.
We are gonna get through this together.
We watch as he struggles with the idea of what Lois Lane is going through. We literally watch him in one of the most grounded scenes, Superman sitting in a support group for people who are going through cancer. We watch him as he is understanding cancer itself. He's still on the defensive, but who wouldn't be? You don't want to hear your spouse has cancer and that they might die. So he's very defensive about it. And we get to watch him understand with Lois right next to him as he starts to understand the situation that she's in. And for the people who are asking, why can't he use Kryptonian tech? They do say that, again, they don't want him outed, but I think this works a bit more with the plot, as again, it's Clark Kent dealing with a human situation as a human, not Superman dealing with human situation. It just makes the whole show a bit more grounded. But through this arc and through the many arcs showing Superman or Clark Kent and Lois Lane, we understand just the dynamic that they do. Sometimes I forget that both Elizabeth Tulloch and Tyler Hoechlin are not together because it's so believable that these two would be together. It's so believable that they're both Lois Lane and Clark Kent, and that, again, Lois Lane is dating Superman, as both of these characters work amazing separate, but they work so much better in tandem with each other, and that's why I think they are both the genuinely best casting for Superman and Lois, as shows us why exactly we love Superman. Because Superman and Lois, without a doubt, is a show about Clark and Lois. It's somewhat a disservice that they actually named the show Superman and Lois and not Clark and Lois, because truly that is the whole point of the show. It's just showing how Clark deals with being a father, how Lois Lane deals with being a mother who's married to Superman. I've always said, if you remove the Superman, you're still left with an amazing story of an amazing family. So I kind of wanted to end off this video rambling a bit about other Superman related media. Superman and Lois, all 3 seasons are on Max and on Hulu or on cable. Show that shows the inner workings of why we love Superman. It shows the big boy scout that Superman is. It shows the amazing talent that both Tyler Hoechlin and Elizabeth Tulloch bring to the project. Talking about how, again, the show is just Clark Kent and not Superman, but trust me, when Superman comes out, it's Superman. Can't wait for season 4. But also, Adult Swim just released a brand new TV show called My Adventures with Superman. Watched the first 2 episodes a couple days ago. It looks very fun and innocent. Looks like another perfect Superman representation, where again, it's just a goofy man who fights because he can, not because he's forced to. And then, of course, Superman Legacy and the casting of David Cornsworth and Rachel Brosnahan. So from what I've seen from these two, they are very good Superman and Lois's.
Background actor, that's the proper term. In many ways, we contribute to the reality of the scene even more so than the principal actors.
But I don't see any
Enough. And why didn't they put the stage over there against that wall instead of over here by the bathroom so you wouldn't have to listen to every giant bowel movement that takes place in there?
I don't believe they're gonna bad. I don't think James Gunn is gonna do bad with this project. Actually, just a couple days ago, they announced 3 new superheroes: Hawk Girl, Mr. Terrific, and Hal Jordan. All those castings also look very great. I don't remember the naming. I just remember Nathan Fillion is playing Hal Jordan, which is very weird, but again, they also announced that he's gonna have the bowl cut, so yeah. I'm very excited for Superman Legacy. It's a James Gunn project. I'm after Guardians 3. I'm 100% a James Gunn fan and a James Gunn supporter. It looks like a fun project. It looks like he understands that Superman is a boy from Kansas, which, if you've never seen people from like small towns, they're the most genuine, lovable people of all time. So that's what Superman is. And some other little Superman that you should read come. I do think that is a great book. It's a book about superheroes where they have no morals and are just douches of people. And then the old superheroes come back and show them the new way of justice. It's a great Superman comic because it truly does show Superman as a character. Again, even after so many years of being retired, he still comes back and he still believes in truth and justice and hope. I do also steer you guys to one more comic. I have not read it myself. I need to, but that's Superman All-Star. From what I've heard, it is the best version of Superman, as it is a depiction of Superman who has basically space cancer. He has a very small window to live. He has to basically do what is a cosmic bucket list. And what is on that cosmic bucket list? It's to save humanity. Even when he's about to die, he wants to save humanity because he knows that he is the only one who can actually do it. A great idea for Superman, as again, when he's cornered, he still is hoping for the best. That also is where the most famous comic book panel for Superman has come from, which is, of course, where he challenges he's about to die. He's doing a million things to save humanity. Here's something a million miles away, which is a girl about to jump off a building. Her reasoning being that her therapist never made it on time to her appointment, but she truly was just stuck in traffic, and Superman comes up to save her. Even though he's doing things to save a million people, he still comes in and he helps this one girl. That's just the right thing to do. That's just who he is. He saves the girl from jumping, and I think that's so beautiful, and I think that's so hopeful, because he could just say, cares, it's one person, I'm about to save millions. But he stops everything he's doing just to save this one person. I think that's what Superman represents. I think Superman represents the best of the world. And the funniest thing, I saw this in a comment for a YouTube video. Superman being an alien represents the best of mankind, while humans represent the worst of mankind. I don't know why I found that extremely interesting or why I found that extremely funny, but it is true. Superman was raised on a farm. What a lot of people forget about Superman is he isn't a god. He wasn't raised on Krypton. He wasn't raised to know that he had these powers. He was raised on a farm in the middle of Kansas and happened to one day figure out that he has these super abilities. And from that, hid them. But when the world needed him, even when that one person needed him, he would come out of the shadows and he would save that one person. Because he knew deep in his heart that even though I have these powers, it's not about the fame, it's not about the fortune, it's about saving that one person. It's about giving hope to the world. And I think that's why Superman is considered one of the best superheroes. As Superman is a character who, no matter what iteration you read, always believes in the same thing: truth and justice and hope. And that things will get better, as the S on his shirt stands for. Hope. Hope is such a great idea. It's what gives power to mankind. And Superman embodies it. I think that's why everyone loves Superman, because he is hope. In the darkest days, in the deadliest of hours, one thing will prevail, and that's hope. So next time you look up into the sky, you see a bird, or you see a plane, you might just be seeing Superman. Thank you, and good night.